Hello, everyone. Happy Friday, or whatever day you're watching this. Let it be a happy day for you. It is another episode of All Things Ascension. Kathryn and here, Elevated Consciousness Coach and 5D Visionary. It is storming here, so I'm hoping that I can knock this out with minimal interruption. We'll see who's going to join live. If no one does, I'm just going to start talking. We are in episode 13 of All Things Ascension. Today I wanted to talk about something that it's something we kind of take for granted in what we think about and how we think about conceptualizing, moving into elevated awareness, moving into dimensional levels of 5D and beyond. It really does take moving beyond the linear mind in order to do that. The linear mind becomes a consciousness trap of the ego in a lot of ways, not in all ways, but in a lot of ways. And when we are at this level of thinking, when we're moving through life, we're making decisions, we're making choices, we're behaving based on thoughts that come from a linear mindset, we become trapped in a consciousness loop where we think if I do A, it's going to lead to B, and B is going to lead to C, and et cetera, and so on. And we end up going into very predictable patterns. So the linear mind serves humanity in a great number of ways. Certainly for more analytical, rational thought, the linear mind is an amazing tool. But this level of mind can't always be trusted when we are talking about or trying to conceptualize, not understand necessarily, but conceptualize, wrap our heads around elevated consciousness realms of 5D and beyond. They are much more accelerated frequencies. Things move faster there. We have a different connection with time in those realms of higher dimensional awareness. And so the linear mind is not going to be something that is going to serve us well in that capacity. The linear mind is really held back and contracted in its thinking because the linear mind can only really work with predictable patterns and things that are known. And predictable patterns that not only we've experienced, but we kind of download in the collective mind, because the collective mind is linear, okay? So, and now I'm not talking about the universal mind, the cosmic mind of the all that there is. That is non-linear, that is non-dual. But I'm talking about the collective hive mind of humanity. It's very linear. So even though we are maybe trying to understand something, work something out in our brains, analyze something, we can do that based on predictable experiences that we've had personally in the past. But we're also on an unconscious level basing it off of things that are in the collective hive mind. So like I said, this level of thinking can serve us well in a lot of ways in our human lives. But it really has no purview, it has no domain, it has nothing to offer us, it can't serve us in any way when we are trying to conceptualize realms of fifth dimensional awareness and beyond. Because it's all patterning. It's conditioning with the linear mind. And that doesn't translate to elevated levels of awareness. So how do we move past this? How do we move past the linear mind? Not where we negate it and push it down and tell it to go away, but just shift our awareness. Move into a more expanded state. And this is about kind of playing little tricks with yourself and playing and practicing with this until you realize how much of a pattern holder you are, how much you create your whole day, sometimes your whole reality around linear thinking. And there's a really fun thing that I like to do. I wanted this to be a short and sweet talk and kind of fun. When I was doing the introduction to my book, so I have a book coming out, Notes on Ascension, A Primer for Unity Consciousness, and the Great Earth Experiment of Spiritual Awakening. This comes out tomorrow. I will have a link for anyone who wants one in here in the group. I will also put it up on this YouTube video after it posts. But for anyone interested, my book comes out tomorrow. It's $9.99. You can wait until it comes out on Amazon Kindle, but you don't have to. You can do the PDF download if you want to get it now, and it's available tomorrow. So when I was creating, the intro for my book, the way I had set up Notes on Ascension was to not follow a linear format in terms of the pieces of information I was sharing, how they would be shared with you, how they would be assembled in the book. I got a very strong intuitive hit that even though the posts themselves, the passages that are shared with you in the book, do follow, in a lot of ways, linear thought processes. When I was assembling the book, what I wanted to do was get my readers in the habit of going in and out of different levels of conceptualization, and put it together, the book together, and the passages of the book together in such a way that maybe you would start thinking, yes, in a linear mindset, and conceptualize things from your 3D self and your 3D level of mind. But then you would have to deliberately interrupt that pattern to start thinking about something else. And when we do this, when we interrupt the pattern of linear thought, we expand our consciousness. We stop being in a contracted, predictable state, and we move into an expanded awareness where anything is possible and probable, and usually is. So when I was working with my spirit team to assemble this book, that was one of the things that we decided was best in terms of how to present the material. But also, it's such an important thing to remember and understand that we're never going to be able to access and sustain an energetic match with the higher frequencies of the fifth dimension and beyond if we continue to lock our consciousness into a linear mindset. It's just not going to work. And in fact, it's going to be painful to try to process information that is bigger than what we know or what our predictable, habitual, conditioned linear mindset has known. The intellectual, rational mind, it serves to reflect information back to us that is known, okay? And this is all what is known in the hologram of 3D reality. But we have to, it's an imperative that we elevate past this much ego-dominated way of thinking that is linear in nature if we hope to comprehend the layers of consciousness that resonate in the accelerated frequencies of 5D and beyond, okay? So how do we snap ourselves out of this? How do we, stop the conditioning, stop the patterning, and put ourselves into this expanded state of awareness? So there's little tips and tricks that I like to employ, and I do this with myself all the time because it makes me realize how habituated and conditioned and patterned I am in my everyday life and the way I approach my entire reality. So when you think about, let's just say, how your house is arranged, okay? It could even be something as simple and mundane as the condiments you have on your refrigerator door. So when you open your door, your fridge, there's all your condiments there. And maybe if you're like me, hello Capricorn, I'm a little OCD by nature. That's just who I am. I'll have, there's mustard, and then there's salad dressing, and then the ketchup has to be over there, and hot sauces are over there, right? Okay? Or you're in your bathroom and you have your vanity arranged in a certain way that, when you get up in the morning, you're groggy, your toothbrush is right there and you could grab it with your eyes closed. Your toothpaste is right there next to it. Your mouthwash is in the cabinet right behind you. You reach in to the third level of your vanity cabinet and there's your dental floss, right? Thanks, David. That's how habituated we are, and we do this to create ease and convenience in our life. Sure, I get that. But it does something else too. It habituates the linear mindset into doing exactly what it is trained to do, keep a certain way or pattern going. That's what the linear mindset is really, really good at, to help your mind stay on track in a certain way of thinking. It follows a continuum. So to interrupt the pattern, you can do something really simple. And it may sound so silly because it's so simple, but it really, really works, okay? So take the stuff that's in your bathroom and rearrange it. The stuff that's on the doors of your refrigerator, your condiments or whatever's in your fridge, or anything that has like an order in your house and it's been that way for a long time. It could even be the items of canned food in your pantry. You know, maybe they're arranged a certain way. Change the order around. Or change the way you do something. It could be the way you wake up in the morning. You're habituated, you're patterned into, I wake up, I let the dog out, I put the coffee maker on, right? I check my email. Even if you switched up one of those things, it would change the way you think about your life. Because you're changing the way you look at things. You're changing the way that you look at the things that are surrounding you and making up, yes, part of the identity of who you think you are, okay? And this is really important. And I know that at first blush, this seems really simple, really mundane, even kind of stupid. But trust me on this. When you do something as simple as rearranging, let's just say the countertop in your bathroom that has your toothbrush on it, and maybe you've got a little, like I do, I have my toothbrush on there, my electric toothbrush. I always put it in the right corner, or I used to. I don't do it anymore. I switch this up on myself all the time. I have a little ceramic holder for like cotton pads for putting my toner on. I have the Q-tips in the space in a vanity cupboard right behind me in the bathroom. So what I like to do is just rearrange the setup of things that are in my bathroom. And you'd be surprised, folks, how often you just blindly, and don't even think about it, you reach for something that is there because it's always been there. And then you're like, wait a minute, that's, you know, that's the Visine, that's not the toothpaste. Or this is my toner, this is not my mouthwash, hold on. And we just accept it. This is one of the pitfalls of the linear mindset, is that it becomes so predictable, our habituated way of patterning our lives. The arrangement of how we go about our day is so conditioned that when we do something to kind of create a blip in that little matrix, and it could be as simple as rearranging your vanity countertop in your bathroom, you'll realize like, oh, here I am again, doing this thing again, doing this thing again, doing this thing again. Now expand that out into your reality beyond just having a physical, tangible connection with the things that are on your bathroom countertop. Think how many things you are habituated to in your behavior and how your mindset just directly contributes to, well, this mindset or this behavior is going to come after this behavior. I know this, I can do it. It's like when we're driving our cars, right? We do go into a semi-somnambulistic state. We are in a state of hypnosis. We're in a low alpha state, meaning we can still conduct the business our body needs us to and be safe. But how many times have you gotten in your car and maybe you've driven the same road over and over again and you're like, wait a minute, how did I get here? I don't even remember. I remember turning the ignition on, getting the radio station set, and off I went, and then all of a sudden I'm here. This is our linear mindset at work. And like I said, it serves us in a number of ways very well. But when we are asking to expand our consciousness past that, that habituation becomes our greatest enemy. Does that make sense? So this is, like I said, going to be a really simple talk, really quick, really easy. But I invite you to start thinking about that and maybe even playing with this on your own. Something you have arranged in your house, it could be in your car, it could be at your office space if some of you still go to a space where you have an office. Change up the order of things. Change the way that you go about your own behavior patterning. You know, swap out a step here and there of what you do in your morning or what you do even before you get ready for bed at night. You know, a lot of us have a ritual before we go to bed at night that we've conditioned ourselves to. And why do we condition ourselves to it? Well, for ease and convenience, like I mentioned before. But also, whatever is safe and predictable, it's easy. We don't have to think about it. And this is the rub. Because we are being invited to think about things very differently. We're being invited to look at things that are already changing in our world. And I'll tell you that this is happening already. There are so many things that are changing in our physical reality that we are just not noticing. Why? Because we are conditioned and patterned into that linear mindset. So we're looking, our brains have been very well trained to look for certain things, to look for certain cues. And our brain is so adept at going off of the instruction sets that we give it that it's not even looking in the periphery for anything else. It's just following the instruction sets that you give it. We're following this. We're following this order. We're doing this. And the brain says, okay, here's what we're doing. So you literally have blinders on in your periphery for being exposed to anything else that might be outside of the normal or the conditioned things that you are used to seeing. And so there could be wonderful, amazing things happening, for instance, that you are asking for to manifest in physical 3D reality. But because you are so conditioned to a linear mindset as well, you may be only looking for this manifestation to show up in this certain way. And there you are with your blinders on, looking. Where's the thing? Where's the thing? It's supposed to look like this. It's supposed to show up here. It's supposed to show up today. It's supposed to show up from this person. Meanwhile, the universe has given you nudges and pushes all over the place saying, hey, it's over here, but you're not seeing it because you're thinking it has to show up this way. And you're only looking forward and straight ahead and thinking that it has to come in the way that you've decided it has to come in because that's the way it looked before. We're not there anymore, folks. We're not there anymore. We're not. We have frequencies accelerating so much on this planet that it is physically changing the tangible nature of things as we've known them. So that means we have to start looking for different cues and clues and breadcrumbs from the universe, and we're never going to notice them. We're never going to maintain a resonance with these things coming in if we don't start changing our mindset a little bit. I'm not saying abandon our linear mindset. This is really good for abstract analysis. It's wonderful. However, where we're asking to go, and certainly where this planet is taking us, it's not just into the realm of abstract analysis. We are going into an expanded level of consciousness that requires us to think and move and see and feel and know our reality differently. And so this is a fun way to start playing with that. And you'll notice something. Here are the benefits of when you start doing this, and if you commit to this, and I highly recommend that you do. Because it's fun, number one. And it's also really great feedback to see how conditioned you might be to your physical environment and things like I used as examples here. But you'll start noticing certain benefits that you'll start thinking about. It could be something that you've thought a certain way about something for a very long time. You'll start having a different thought about it. Or you'll start to have a different feeling about something or someone or some event or interaction. It could be something from your past that maybe has caused you a lot of strife because you just couldn't figure out how to get past it. And all of a sudden, a solution comes in and you feel differently about it. Those are the direct and compound benefits of stretching yourself past your linear mindset as well. But it takes us practice. We have to understand that we're working with very, very ancient machinery here. Our brains are very, very old. But you can teach an old dog new tricks. But we have to be the ones to kind of lead the charge. And just like training a dog, you have to habitually work at changing it over and over again. Don't get upset if something doesn't stick. You just keep going. You keep giving the same commands over and over again that, allow for a different mindset to take hold. Just like when you're training a dog, which took me a very long time to do because he had no training when I got him. You can get impatient, sure. But the only way that dog is going to learn is if you keep hounding him, pun intended, with the same commands over and over and over again to create a new behavior. Okay? Same is true with your own brain. And some of you might be a little upset that I am using a dog to equate our mindsets, but it is really kind of the same thing. We have to practice at it. And we have to understand that if we want mastery at anything, we have to do until we become, right? So practice is everything. But try that, switch things up. And I'd love to hear your feedback and anybody who wants to, take up this challenge and do it. I have been doing it more and more quite often, and I love it because it's fun. I laugh at myself a lot for doing the things that I'm so conditioned to. But then it opens me up, and having that kind of laughter and sense of wonder and innocence about it, it makes me more adept at, okay, I'm going to think of something differently, think about something differently, or it cues me to be more present, right? Like now I have to think about, where is the toothpaste on the vanity counter, or where is my mouthwash? Like I have to be present, I have to be aware, I have to be awake. This is another part of really being able to ride this wave of accelerated frequencies into higher level consciousness on this planet. We're programmed to accept limitation, absolutely. And that is a linear mindset. Because the linear mindset is very much about, we start here, we end here. That's a finite grid of energy that you're working with. So you can see how that only will get us so far in trying to understand elevated awareness, and not just understand it. Conceptualize it, use it, make it tangible, make it real and applicable in our lives. We've got to move beyond the linear mindset. So that's all I wanted to say. I hope you have some fun with this. This was All Things Ascension, episode 13. My new book, Notes on Ascension, comes out tomorrow. If you're in my Quantum Quintessence Society, you will have it tomorrow in the group. The rest of you will have to pay for it, but it is only $9.99 and well worth the money. I'm very excited about it. If you want me to tag you, if I haven't already got a comment from you to tag you when the link comes out to purchase the book, please let me know. I'll be happy to do that. So have a great weekend, everybody. Love you so much. Love and peace. Bye-bye.